Welcome to the Housewives News Network, and I am your host, Taylor J. Be sure to follow me on social media. You can find those at the bottom of your screen. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can catch up with each other on the latest Real Housewives episodes. You can catch some of my shorts as well about other going-ons in the Housewives universe throughout the week. And also, be sure to like this video, leave some comments below. Let's chit-chat, let's get to know each other, and really just build a Housewives community. And we have really got to get it started now because, first of all, we have to cheers. Let's take a toast to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13 officially being on air. And let me tell you guys, that premiere was something to see. So again, take a toast. I'll take a sip because we're going to need one. And let's get started on it. So it is season 13, episode 1, and the name of the episode is The Eaglewoman Has Landed. And so basically, the Eaglewoman is a healer that Dorit called in for this healing session that they actually start with at the very beginning of the episode. So we're getting a group scene like right out of the gate with all of the ladies from last season. We do have a newbie, Anne-Marie. I hear that she is not coming until later on, maybe around like episode 6. So it will be a while before we see her. We do get a little preview of her in the trailer, but for the healing session, it's Dorit, Kyle, Erika, Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal. So the way that I want to do this recap, and it might change from week to week, but I think for this one, it's probably necessary to just go cast member by cast member because there's just so much that came out of last night, and even so much beyond what we saw on the show, but in social media and in the media, Watch What Happens Live, thing of that nature. So we're going to kick it off with Kyle. She's the OG. She's been doing this 13 seasons straight. You know, she is really, I would say, has been really the rock of this cast. She's been consistent through it all. But we are starting to see an interesting side of Kyle in this episode. And, you know, it's been going around. Well, not even going around, but it came out that she and Mauricio are separated. We do get a tense scene with them toward the end, where one of the things that she had talked about was just how busy the two of them were and how they haven't really been able to find much time to spend together. And it sounds like that had caused a strain on their marriage. I'm actually binge watching some older seasons of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and especially as the agency started to grow, and then Kyle was doing her own thing. Like, she had her own show for a while, American Woman, that she created based off of her mother. Back then, she was complaining about how they weren't spending enough time together, that Mauricio was traveling, she was traveling, you know, and that they really had to learn to make time for each other. So it seems like that might have been one of the issues that kind of drove a wedge between them. And so Kyle talks about her tattoos and how she has 5, but Mauricio thought she only had 3. And she says to him, you know, maybe you should pay closer attention to my body, which was like a little bit of a gag for us as viewers. Like, oh my gosh, it was very tense. I know some people say that they believe this is for the cameras and things like that, but based on that scene at the end of the episode, and also based on Watch What Happens Live, her appearance with Teddy last night with Andy, it's making some of us feel otherwise. You know, it came out recently, the paparazzi caught Mauricio and his Dancing with the Stars partner holding hands. And Kyle said when she saw that, it really hurt her. And so today is Thursday, October the 25th, is it? October 26th. I'm sorry. Today is October 26th. And Mauricio and his dance partner released a video saying that they're just really good friends and they were going through a challenging week, and Mauricio happened to grab her hand and she grabbed his back, and the paparazzi saw it, and it was nothing like what we think it is. But based on what we're about to see in this season and, you know, social media and things that are coming out, I feel like this is about to intensify to a whole other level. But I will give Kyle her props. When she was on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen had no problem asking her any of the hard questions, and she had no problem answering them. So I really respected her for that. She was very honest. You know, she said that She was the one that initiated the separation. She says that her and I believe Morgan Wade, is that the person's name? The lady that Kyle has been hanging out with, that they're best friends, that it's no sort of affair or anything like that. And that she and Mauricio are still living under the same roof. But at this retreat, and what really got me about Kyle, she's still upset about how the way things went down last season between Lisa Rinna, Erika, Kathy Hilton. And, you know, Kyle's whole history with her sisters is the one major bone that I have to pick with her. I have never been a fan of the way that Kyle has allowed the women on the cast to treat, especially Kim Richards when she was on the show. And that's part of the reason why I have this disdain for Lisa Rinna as a housewife, because it just seemed like she was always poking at or coming at Kim, even though Kim cleared her every time. I mean, let's not forget Amsterdam. She took them all down one by one, all the ones that were coming for her, right? Kyle included. But I just feel like Kyle never takes the side of her sisters. And let me just say this, okay? Families are not perfect. We all have our family issues. We have our family members that we fall out with. We have our family members that get on our nerves, that we fuss with, that we argue with, and whatever else. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to let a friend and someone that I haven't even known that long come and try to tell lies on you, to ridicule you, to spread rumors about you that I know not to be true. And so, Garcelle had brought up a good point, and I'm paraphrasing this, but you're hanging out with people who are coming for your family. Like, what do you expect as far as you and your sister having a wedge between each other? You clearly chose sides, right? And then at the same time, then Kyle kind of drags Sutton into it, by saying that she's not cool with Sutton because Sutton had been hanging with Kathy, and then trying to insinuate that Sutton is only hanging with Kathy to social climb, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. Because for one, when we got introduced to Sutton on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she was at a private showing at Dolce & Gabbana. Lisa Rinna came to meet her because she's friends with them. So why would she need to smooth up under Kathy Hilton when she is friends with one of the most world-renowned fashion designers? And also on top of that, she was saying how she got invited, she gets invited to the Elton John charity. I'm sure she knows people. Jennifer Tilly, the actress, was with her on tonight several times on the episode. So it's just like, I don't think Sutton needs to smooth up under Kathy or social climb or anything like that. To be honest, I think that Sutton was with the winning team. Like Nene said on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you're rolling with the wrong team. And like Portia said, you're choosing the wrong road. That's how I feel about Kyle. And I just hope that she kind of gets that whole thing together. I enjoy Kyle otherwise, but I have not appreciated the way that she has allowed people to treat her sister. She doesn't defend them, and then she tries to play victim like she did on this episode and like she did at the reunion where she's boohoo crying. And this is not to say that Kathy or Kim are angels by any means, but at the end of the day, it's family over everything, and to allow someone to drive a wedge between y'all, like I can't really get with that. So, that's Kyle. So let's move on to Dorit. So Dorit, she has an interesting situation going on right now. So Dorit is the one who put this healing session together. And the housewives love a healing session. I don't know if I would be able to even sit through one because I wouldn't be able to take it seriously. And PK really called their number because he's like, how are you going to expect to have a healing session with this group of women? They come together, nothing ever really gets resolved. And I mean, at the end of it, they all group hug or whatever, but we'll see how long that lasts. It just never actually works out. But Dorit, she, just wants to band the group back together, but her biggest bone to pick is with Erika Jayne. So at BravoCon last year, during a game, Erika Jayne was asked which couple would be the next to separate or break up. And she said Dorit and PK, to which Dorit did not appreciate that. I'm sure PK didn't appreciate it either. And so she calls Erika out about it directly at the healing session. And Erika, she decides to say that She didn't want to answer the question. She felt pressure to answer it, and she was just giving the audience what they wanted. And in response, Dorit's like, well, I mean, you answered it with such confidence. You were flipping your hair, you skipped back to your seat. And as she's calling her out about it, then Erika like turns on the waterworks. Like, it's actually amazing how she was able to do that, to kind of spin it back on them empathizing with her. Like, all these last couple of years, I know I've been horrible. I've been nasty. I've been so mean with the things she's been going through with Tom and his legal issues and stuff like that. And she's like, I'm just so sorry if I hurt you. You guys, I'm so sorry. And I mean, it just kind of like blows over. Like, Erika, she didn't even acknowledge it in a way where she apologized about it. It was just kind of a blanket statement for everyone. And yeah, it was very interesting. But right before the episode came on, something broke on social media saying that Dorit and PK were separated, that they had been living separately for months, and that they're pretty much headed for Splitsville. Somebody just honked the horn out here. But yeah, that they're pretty much headed for Splitsville. And this was right before the episode came on. And so during Watch What Happens Live, one of the virtual audience members asked Kyle if she knew about the separation, and Kyle looked completely shocked. And it's interesting because, then this is an aside, I was a virtual cast member, or not cast member, but audience member on Watch What Happens Live about a year ago. And they gave us a question to ask. So it made me wonder, especially since that rumor broke yesterday, were they given that question to ask at the last minute, the two who asked it, or were they able to ask a question of their own? It was a good one to ask. It was very timely. It was very relevant. Kyle said she didn't know about it. But then today, PK and Dorit put out a statement through People magazine saying that, they're not breaking up. They're just trying to work some things out. So we'll see how that turns out. Sutton also insinuated something interesting with all this about PK and Dorit possibly not doing well in their marriage. When PK had the car accident, which I believe was last season, the word is that there was another woman in the car. That was some tea that was spilled by Sutton. So we'll sip to that. But here at Housewives News Network, honestly, we don't want to see marriages break up. And unless it is like you have to get out of there, abuse, threats to your life, anything like that, then that's a different circumstance. Because when you rewind the tapes and you go back to the beginning of the Kemsleys' time on Beverly Hills, they have always been 10 toes down for each other. If you're coming for Dorit, PK is coming after you. If you're coming after PK, then Dorit is coming after you. That's just how they are. And, I appreciated it, even though sometimes it would get annoying, especially with PK kind of stepping into situations with the women, like back when Dorit and Erika weren't getting along initially, and he would call her cold and all that stuff. It would get annoying, but you would just see how much they ride for each other. So it's my hope that, this continues in a positive direction, that they can, get things back on track and be good with one another. Okay, so I have to take another sip for this next person, and I'm taking baby sips just so you guys don't think I'm a lush. But this one is worth it. This is a cheers to my girl Sutton Strack, okay? And the reason why is because mama is rich, okay? Very rich. So we started out in this episode learning that she just bought a horse in the Netherlands, either the Netherlands or Amsterdam. She just bought a horse. She said that she saw the horse, they connected with each other in the eyes, and she bought it. Like it's a puppy or something, right? But then she was speaking with Jennifer Tilly about how she's ready to show her ex-husband just how successful she has become with her business and with other ventures that she has. She has a store in LA. And so I want to pull up something that was shared on the episode last night. And I was like, wow. So Sutton, in her divorce, she was awarded $300,000 in spousal support a month. $300,000 in spousal support a month. That's over $250,000 a month in spousal support, right? But that's not all. So there was a report that came out a while ago saying that not only did she get that, when she When they first divorced, she walked away with over $1.2 million in cash. The couple's LA home, their Augusta, Georgia home, an apartment in Venice, and then she has a couple of vehicles, a Vespa, partial ownership of 2 minor league baseball teams, 44% stake in a lumber company, countless investment shares, and Amex award points that she was given from the divorce. So Sutton is rolling in the dough. So even for Kyle, again, to even insinuate that she's a social climber or she's trying to get up under people for status or whatever, this says it all. She has it going for her. And I've always liked Sutton. I've loved her Southern ways. And I know like her style of dress can be a little wacky or whatever, but she's my kind of girl. I like her. And, she's really getting to a point where she's not afraid to go there. And I'm just really happy for her that she is coming into her own as an independent woman. And, she's achieving things and she's making things happen. And so I'm really excited to see her journey this year, just her personal journey and how she is just really learning and growing. She said when she and her husband first got married that they were on equal footing, that they were both working, that they were both making money. And then when she got pregnant, he wanted her to stay home and he started taking care of everything and she started getting an allowance. So basically, he was controlling her in a sense. So for her to have this independence, I'm sure it means a lot to her and she's ready to show him like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm sure he sees it. And hopefully he's seething. She definitely took a lemon situation and made lemonade out of it while sitting on a gold mine because mama is paid. Okay, so let's see. We have Kyle, we have Dorit, we have Sutton, Erika. So Erika's back. And Erika's skinny. And so Dorit's like, oh, what are you doing? And she says it's hormones. And Dorit is speculating that it's Ozempic. And it's been going around that a lot of like housewives and celebrities and people have been using Ozempic to try to lose weight. So I don't think we'll really know the truth on what's going on, but she says it's hormones. Erika is in a place of trying to rebrand herself after the last couple of years being put, I guess, in like the villain category when it comes to the situation with her estranged husband, Tom Girardi, and his scandal with the money situation and the victims that he represented. And so she is just trying to come out of that and, get back into her own. Right now she has a Las Vegas residency and she looks really good. I mean, Erika's over 50 and she's doing it. So I'm gonna always give Erika her props there. She's always been a favorite of mine, but I mean, of course, a person can be your favorite and you cannot like some of the things that they do. And so these last couple of seasons, it was kind of hard to really rally around her or, really like boost her up because, I mean, she wasn't very nice and she knows that. We saw her take some time with a therapist and see some vulnerability out of her. That's a tough word for me, y'all. But yeah, we just saw her being vulnerable with her therapist and just talking through, I guess what one of her goals is to be more empathetic. And she's asking the therapist, how do I do that? How do I show it? She's always been categorized as having this stoic, cold way about her. So maybe she'll warm up. We'll see. But that's how things start out with Erika. I think the biggest thing right now is the issue between her and Dorit, which we kind of covered. Next is Garcelle. And Garcelle's situation we saw was with her sons. She takes some time out with them at the beach and they're sitting and talking. And, her son, I believe it might have been Jade. I think it might have been Jade. One of the twins. I don't want to refer to the wrong one. But one of the twins basically came out and said that he feels like Garcelle has not been much of a parent to him over the last few years. And, she's always working and he's 15 years old. Like he doesn't really need to be parented anymore. I thought this was a little bit of a silly conversation coming from the boys because I'm like, y'all are kids. Like if you are so sure that you don't need a parent anymore, then go ahead and be it on your own and see how well you survive, right? But seeing this conversation between Garcelle and her sons was really something for me because while I don't have any children yet, I'm not married yet, I think about the future and the type of career that I want to have. That's not the traditional 9 to 5 coming home, every evening type of thing. It might include travel. It might include me being away for a few days. So, one of my biggest concerns is how do you balance that? And Garcelle, someone who has been everywhere since like the 90s. I remember watching Garcelle on Jamie Foxx show when I was younger. And she's doing even more. She's got Housewives. She was on a show on Hulu. I think she is like voicing either a book or a podcast or something like she just has a lot going on. I see her doing spreads, for magazines. It's a lot going on in her life. Great things going on in her life. So it's like, as a single parent, as a mom, how do you be present for your kids and make sure that they know that you are there for them, but then also balance your career as well? I think this is something that a lot of women can identify with, and I think this is going to be a great storyline. And then lastly, we have Crystal, and there's not much to say about Crystal because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember her really being in the episode like that. I don't think we got any personal scenes from her, and if we did, please let me know down in the comments because I totally forgot about it. But all in all, I think this was a great premiere. I am so excited to see the way that things unfold. It's so much tea. It's hot tea, piping hot tea, like coming out by the day. And I think as the season goes on, it's only going to be more and more, especially as we see the lead up to the separation between Mauricio and Kyle, and then it happening presently, and then also maybe seeing some tension between Dorit and PK that cause people to think that, hey, struggle in paradise there too. So let me know what you thought about the premiere. Leave your comments down at the bottom, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow me on social media. And I will see you guys again soon. Next week, really, because Miami starts next week, next Wednesday, November 1st, on the same night as Beverly Hills, and then Potomac and Married to Medicine, November 5th. So let's get it going. Don't forget to come back with your drink, your bottle open, nice and chill, so we can toast, kiki, and have a good time. See you next time.